How tall am I? I feel like y'all be asking a lot of mass presenting folks this question. What up, y'all? It is me, Shanaza Divine, aka your favorite queer Nigerian, and today I'm excited because we have another video. Obviously, the setup looks different. I'm sitting down, I'm talking to y'all. So I'm really excited to share with y'all that I'm gonna be, speaking a lot more about my experiences and just giving y'all like a more raw, authentic, in-depth videos about like who I am as a person. If you are new here, thank you for clicking the link and coming to watch this video. If you are not new and you've been following me on my other channels, I just want to say a huge thank you to every one of y'all who have been so supportive of me, of my journey and my stories, literally everything in between. Today's video is going to be a Q&A. I asked y'all to ask me some questions on my Instagram, TikTok, and things of that nature, just to get to know me a little bit more. And I wanted to see what kind of questions like y'all have been dying to know and things like that. So we're gonna be answering some questions. I'm gonna be spilling the tea, telling y'all how it is. Without further ado, let's get into these questions. So the first question that I got was, where am I from? So I am Nigerian. I was born and raised in Nigeria. Lived there literally until I was about like 11, 10. I moved to the States, specifically Washington State, not DC. So yeah, I have lived like up until 11 in Nigeria, and then the rest of like my other years I've lived here in the States, and recently just moved out here to California about 2 years ago. So the next question, how tall am I? I feel like y'all be asking a lot of mass presenting folks this question. Obviously there's like nothing wrong with it, but like there's just a short mask view that be happening. But I'm gonna tell y'all how tall I am. On a good day, it's giving I'm 5'6". On a not good day, it's giving I'm 5'5". But it really be the angles, y'all. I'm telling you, like, I feel like obviously on Instagram and social media and things like that, it's easy to come off much like larger than life, but yeah, I'm 5'5". The other question I have is, do you have any plans of creating your own clothing line in the future? Absolutely, 110%. Yes, I do. I'm obviously still very much like in the beginning stages of figuring out like what I want to do, as far as like fashion and things like that, and just being mass presenting and whatnot. But I definitely do want to have some sort of like mask, or I guess not mask, but some sort of like line for mass presenting folks and just queer folks in general, honestly. I think that, there's a lot of representation here and there, but not enough. And so, yeah, I definitely want to get into clothing, and a lot of other different stuff. How would I describe my style? I think that I would describe my style as just very comfy. Growing up like in Nigeria and things of that nature, like my parents are very traditional, and so like, I wore skirts, dresses, and things like that, and I had always been like a tomboy growing up, like baby pictures and everything. I was like dipped out in shorts with a t-shirt and whatnot. So I absolutely hated wearing dresses or skirts. Like I despised it with every single thing in my body. And so I think now that I'm like at this point where I'm a lot more comfortable in my skin, for me it's important to like wear things that make me feel comfortable in my own body. So really, like, if I were to describe my style, it's always comfort over everything. This other question asks, wasn't it scary to leave your family and start your life alone? How did you do it? This is a loaded question. First and foremost, yes, it was scary to leave my family. I also think that like growing up, I've sort of always had this like independent spirit to me. And so, I guess I never really had like such an emotional attachment or bond to my family like most people do. And so like for me it was scary, but it wasn't like as scary as I know that it has been for some people. I mean, the relationship with my family has always kind of been contingent on like the things that I did or fulfilled to live up to their expectations of what they have for me. And so growing up, it was always kind of that. It's like, okay, like get good grades, you get this, or like, you know, that type of stuff. And so as I got older and realized, okay, like this is not the type of love that I want from people who are in my family or people that are supposed to be my family. I want unconditional love where it's like, you know, no matter what it is that I do or how well I do, like you can still love me the same way. And so it really just took me getting to a point where I was like, okay, like in order for me to like be my true self and live my true authentic life, like I have to make some really scary and uncomfortable decisions. And for a very long time, like I was very scared to fully cut my family off. I mean, I've gone periods of time without like having any like, you know, communication with them and things like that, but I haven't spoken to my family in over about 2 years now. And it's obviously presented its challenges. Like I'm not gonna sit here and tell y'all like, oh yeah, it's been great and stuff. Like some days it's hard, some days it's easy. But like it was scary, but I think that it was a fear that I was willing to take for me to get to this point that I am now. I've been able to surround myself with people who genuinely love me for like who I am, and I've been able to see what that like unconditional love looks like. And so, you know, for me, I needed that. I needed to like take myself out. I needed to like not have any communication with them. I needed to, I guess, do the scary thing. And yeah, I mean, really how I did it was, I mean, obviously being like financially independent. I always preach that like if you are not in the place to be able to take care of yourself and not have to rely on, you know, any parent or whatever figure to take care of you, that's always the first step. I made sure that I had got to a point where like I had a job, I was able to pay for everything that I needed to pay, and I slowly started to like, I guess, cut that relationship off and create distance between myself and them, up until the point where I was like, okay, I'm in a space where I can cut you guys off. And I mean, as harsh as that sounds, like that is genuinely what I needed to do. And I mean, it was really hard. It was something really, really hard for me to do. But again, it's something that I really needed to do, and I have absolutely no regrets for doing it. I mean, my hope and wish is that someday, like, I'm able to have a much more healthier relationship with my parents, but obviously that takes like it's a two-way street. It can't just be me doing all the work. They also have a lot of work to do on their part, but again, that requires them being willing to do the work. But I mean, I'm so glad that I'm able to like sit here and even talk to y'all about this. Who is my fashion inspiration? Honestly, I think my fashion inspiration just comes from like other queer androgynous content creators, fashion or not, that just look like me, dress like me, or have the same body type as me, went through similar experiences as myself. So yeah, I think like really any androgynous content creators. I also get a lot of inspiration from just my culture, and being Nigerian. I think that like being queer and being African is like such a, I guess, like not necessarily a taboo, but it's something that's like not really embraced. And so for me, it's just kind of like finding ways to embrace my culture and like show that on the outside as well, just because a lot of other experiences that I would have had if I weren't queer, I don't get. And so for me, I try to gain or get inspiration from really like everything that's around me. I have another question that says, terrified of coming out to my Nigerian family, what was your coming out process like? Honestly, I resonate so much with this. I realized that since I've been more honest and open about my experience as a queer African person, there are so many other people that share the same stories as me, and it's honestly really, really unfortunate and sad that, you know, as like queer African people, a lot of our experiences are rooted in fear and rooted in like, you know, am I gonna lose these people and things like that. And I will be 100% honest with you and tell you that, you know, coming from somebody who has done it and who's experienced the same fear that you have experienced, your happiness is at the end of the day what is most important. And you know, the hope and the wish is that like the people that love you come around, but again, that might not always be the case, and part of that is facing the reality. The process was really hard. I mean, I like to say that I kind of like have always been out. Like I never came out to my parents, but I also was never like I never really hid like who I was and what I was doing. And obviously I would get questions and things like that from them. But I was never in a position to like be like, yes, this is who I am. And like, if you don't like it, whatever. So I'm more than happy, you know, speaking of that, actually, I'm more than happy to share my coming out story. So if y'all want to hear my coming out story, put in the comments section that you want to hear it, and I can make a video. Last question. This last question says, what stuff do you do to regularly connect with your Nigerian side? And this is actually a really good question. I think for me, obviously like listening to like Nigerian music, Afro beats, things of that nature. I also cook Nigerian food as well. And recently, like I've been teaching my partner Igbo, because I'm Igbo. I've been teaching her Igbo, which is like really beautiful because she's been like very willing to like learn and things like that. So that has been like a really beautiful experience. One, because it also helps me like practice my Igbo and still like make sure that, you know, I'm able to speak like my native language. So yeah, those are some of the things that I do. But yeah, I mean, that's all the question that I have for this video. Let me know if you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what videos y'all want to see me do next. And as always, it's me, Shanaza Divine, your favorite queer Nigerian, and I can't wait to see y'all in the next video. Peace.